Welcome to Strengths Champion Solutions, where we help teams, leaders, and organizations to grow stronger, work smarter, and live richer. I'm your host, Brent O'Bannon, and today we are talking about 4 ways to stop anxious thinking. How many of us have what leadership gurus call an anxious presence? So when you're around other people, you may be feeling anxious on the inside, even having anxious thoughts, fear of being rejected, fear of not being liked, maybe even anxiety that you're an imposter, you're a fraud. I think all of us, because we're human, have some elements of these ants on the brain. That stands for automatic negative thoughts. So these automatic negative thoughts are like ants. They sting us, they bite us, and they poison us. They are toxic thoughts that hurt your mindset, that hurt your belief in your own talent and your ability. And so we need to learn how to have good habits and good strategies of being able to stop the anxious thoughts. Anxious thoughts will sabotage us, not only from growing and developing, but from becoming our best self. So I'm going to share my top 4 ways. Of course, there are many more, but I'm going to quickly go through several. And by the way, if you've ever taken StrengthsFinder, aka Clifton Strengths, then you'll also realize that many people who have dominant strategic thinking themes, like maybe deliberative or ideation or analytical, and other types of deep thinking themes, they may be even more prone, I believe, to anxious thinking. So taking care of our thought life and understanding how our strengths play to our raw versus refined talents is really important. So today, here's the first method that will help you stop your anxious thinking. It's a practice called 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So literally what you do is when you feel this anxious feeling and you notice the anxious thoughts in yourself, you count backwards from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But what you do is that you also ground yourself with your 5 senses. So for example, what are 5 things that I can see around me right now? So for me, I can see my chapstick. I can see a trophy that I won from Toastmasters. I can see a beautiful icon of St. Patrick. I can see the clock is ticking. And I can see one of my favorite quotes, 2 Samuel 22:23, in front of me. 4. So what are 4 things that I hear right now? I hear a light buzz from the fluorescent lights. I hear a gentle blowing of air from the vents. I hear a little bit of road noise outside my window. And I hear a faint sound of a bird chirping outside my window. 3. What are 3 things that I feel, that I can feel, touch right now? So right now I'm holding my new glasses. I kind of think they're cool, actually. My wife got them for me. I can feel my skin on my arm, which is kind of hairy as well. And I feel my bicep flexed. 2. What are 2 things that I can smell? Well, I can smell my chapstick, which kind of has a peppermint type of smell. I can smell my vitamin that I haven't taken just yet. And 1. What is 1 thing that I can taste right now? I happen to have an espresso bean. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's a great way to stop the panic, the anxiety, the flooding of cortisol to your brain by using this method. Now, here is the second trick and hack to stopping your anxious thought. So if you notice on this slide that is in front of you, it's one of my favorite quotes. And I put this out on Facebook and LinkedIn last week and got a lot of response. And the quote comes from Dr. Masaru Emoto, who, yes, he's the guy that did a lot of work with water and consciousness. Not that I believe everything that he teaches, but I really like this quote. Every thought you think is a virtual email that you send on the internet. And one of the people who responded on this quote said, maybe we need to delete the spam folder. And I started thinking, like, how many of us have junk, anxious thoughts? And they get caught in the junk folder in our brain. And by the way, it's good that you have a filter. So having a filter is part of the hack of dealing with anxious thoughts. So when those junk thoughts are in our brain and we open that folder and we face them, how do we delete it? Well, one way you can delete it is to reframe. And by the way, these readers give me new perspective. They make things more clear. And so what happens is, for example, if you say to yourself, I'm going to bomb this job interview, that's a junk, anxious producing thought. So how do you reframe that? You could reframe it by saying, you know, I actually am excited about this opportunity for this job interview. So you reframe anxiety to excitement, which is a form of anxiety. It's just like if you were to get on a Six Flags roller coaster and you feel anxious, but yet you're excited at the same time to be able to ride that ride. Excuse me. So being able to delete and reframe your automatic negative thought is really important. This is a skill. So when you say, I am unlovable, I am not as talented as others, I'm not smart enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not focused enough, whatever the junk is that's coming into your mind, You reframe it by saying, I struggle with focus. However, with the right partners, I can focus better. Do you hear the reframe? It's more from anxious thinking to more workable, doable, flexible thinking, which doesn't lead to perfection, but it leads to being able to function. There's a difference between perfection and functioning. Okay, so here is number 3. And this is what I call worry postponement. Okay, so are you worried you're not going to get enough income as an entrepreneur? Are you worried that you're not going to be able to hire the right person, maybe in your organization, in your team? Are you worrying that you don't have enough support to help you finish that project? Are you worrying about something that is out of your control? That is where most anxiety comes from. The things within our control, we can do more about those things. Those things that are out of our control, they tend to eat us alive. And what you can do, and what I've done with some of my clients is, okay, let's give yourself permission to worry, but only at a certain time for a limited amount of time. So if you want to worry that you're not going to have enough income for your business, okay, so whatever time you like, let's just say Monday at 2 p.m. for 15 minutes, you're going to put a stop timer on, and you're going to allow yourself to fret, to feel anxious, and to worry from 2 to 2:15. Now, seems kind of funny, doesn't it? But yet it's actually giving ourselves permission to be anxious and to be fearful or to worry, but you only can allow it a certain amount of time. Most of us continue to worry nonstop, and that's what takes away our success. Okay, and finally, here is number 4, and that is to create what I call a strength success script. So here's an example of mine. It's actually a 2-pager. This script takes my strengths, my values, my goals and aspirations, and it breaks down different parts of my well-being in my life, like relationships, like work, like money, like even my spiritual life, all these different parts of my life. And I craft out a narrative about how I want my life to go. Of course, just because I write it down doesn't make it happen, right? But it does give your brain a GPS. And so you use hypnotic words in your success script. These are words that go into your subconscious that really helps you to think of living your life as if it has already happened. So not that it's going to, but that it is. So for example, well-being and personal balance is really important for me. And focus and faith are one strength and one of my values. So here's the opening part of my script. Brent is flowing in strong focus and faith, naturally keeping my eye on living God's purpose. Intuitively, I am balancing time with God, myself, and those important to me daily. In each moment, I am zooming out and zooming in on my top priorities. I am productive and quickly following through on my action items daily. So do you get a feel for this success script? So by writing out your success script, and by the way, you'll need to update it, and then even record it on your phone so that you can listen to it when you get anxious, when you get discouraged. This will start to transform your mindset into a growth mindset. Okay, so I hope these 4 ways that I've quickly gone over today will give you some tips and tools to be able to help you stop the anxious thinking that is robbing you and sabotaging you. So, Bo and those others that have joined today, thank you for tuning in. And please put your comments into the comment boxes below. So stay tuned for our next Strengths Champion Solutions. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.